Hello and welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
I'm Chicklin.
So Chicklin, I don't know if you've been reading the news a lot lately, but there's a lot of stories about climate change right now. So there's been some protests back in spring. There were some protests about climate change in London and in Europe because they wanted to stop some of the changes that were happening around the world. So what are some of the changes that climate change is causing?
Well, we know that climate change is mainly caused by global warming, and you know that now we have hotter days, it's getting hotter, and then we have rising sea levels, increased sea temperatures. They're melting ice caps all over the world, which is really sad because those living creatures in that area, they might lose their home. And we also have like extreme weather events like droughts, floods, cyclones, and bushfires are getting more intense.
Natural disasters, right?
They're getting more intense and frequent.
And it's also causing extremes at other ends. So it's not just getting hotter, it's getting colder too. So in New York, I don't know if you saw, maybe a year ago there was a big snowstorm, and they never had a snowstorm that big before. So that was also caused by climate change. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about how climate change is affecting a part of the world that you might not have heard of before. It's called Svalbard, and it's way, way, way up north above Europe. So let's get started with our story.
Reading. Svalbard, the fastest warming place on Earth. Scientists know that climate change is having serious effects on our planet. The world has warmed about 1 degree Celsius in the past 200 years, which is enough to raise sea levels. Yet there are places in the north that have warmed much faster. Winter temperatures in Norway's Svalbard have risen by 7 degrees Celsius in less than 50 years. This situation is shocking because Svalbard is in the Arctic Circle, close to the North Pole. Weather conditions here should be freezing most of the year. Climate change has spelled disaster for many residents of the islands. Snow that normally stays frozen on the tops of mountains now melts and tumbles down. These avalanches bury homes and shops. Some people have died. Rain is now common in winter. Locals can no longer ride a snowmobile between islands as the ice has completely melted. This has also caused a dilemma for those working in Svalbard's coal mines. Because coal burning is responsible in part for climate change, many locals are now uncomfortable with the business that brought wealth to the region.
So the title of our article today is called Svalbard, the fastest warming place on Earth. Oh, okay, this doesn't sound good.
No. And scientists know that climate change is having serious effects on our planet.
Right. We see in the article, the world has warmed about 1 degree in the past 200 years, which is enough to raise sea levels. Oh, okay, wow, that is a little bit dangerous. So raise sea levels, you just mentioned that in our introduction. When the planet gets warmer because of climate change, ice in the North Pole and the South Pole melts. So this is a big problem not just for cities, but also for habitats, as you were saying, where animals live as well.
Okay, and next the article says, yet there are places in the north that have warmed much faster.
Right. Winter temperatures in Norway's Svalbard have risen by 7 degrees in less than 50 years. Okay, so Svalbard, I just mentioned there, is a collection of islands north of Norway, in between Norway and the North Pole, and it's home to a place called Longyearbyen, which is the world's northernmost town. Okay.
And this situation is shocking because Svalbard is in the Arctic Circle, close to the North Pole.
Right. It's shocking, which is an adjective, and when something is shocking, it is surprising, normally for a bad reason. We often use shocking to describe something that worries us normally. It's kind of a little bit like saying worrying. So you can say that it's worrying that, the temperatures are rising, or you can say it's shocking. But shocking sounds like it's It's more.
Yeah.
So shocking comes from the word shock, which is a noun. It can also be a verb as well. And as a noun, it means a fright or something that makes you jump. If something is so bad that it makes you jump, then it must be very bad, mustn't it? And we also use shocking in one other way too, in the UK only. We can use shocking to mean something that is very bad, normally someone's performance. So I could say Manchester United football team's performance was shocking on Saturday. So that just means they did very, very badly. So our example sentence for shocking is, the shocking rise in crime recently has frightened many tourists away from this town.
好，那我们来看一下 shocking 这一个字，它是形容词，是令人震惊的意思。那我们知道，它就是把 ing 去掉会变成名词跟动词哦。那有一个小片语，大家可以看一下 ，be in shock 就是受到惊吓的意思。比如说 ，I was in shock when I heard what they were saying。当我听到他们在说什么的时候，我有点受到惊吓。那么我们刚刚说到 shock 也可以当动词嘛，那如果加上 ed， 它也是 adjective， 所以你如果很惊吓对某件事情，你就可以说 be shocked at something. It's a phrase too. 那我们来看一下几个例句哦。I was shocked when I heard what they were saying. 所以这边其实可以改写嘛，原本是 I was in shock， 那现在你可以说 I was shocked. And next 你也可以说 the news of the accident shocked him. 这边就当一个动词。And next, weather conditions here should be freezing most of the year. 所以 Svalbard 这一个地方，它是在北极圈内，它很靠近北极嘛，所以照理说应该整年都要非常的冷的耶。
So we saw the word freezing there, which is an adjective, and when something is freezing, it is very, very cold. The verb to freeze means to cool down water until it turns into solid ice. To do this, you need to make the temperature very, very cold, which is why we call it a freezing temperature. Other words we can use to describe very cold temperatures include bitter, which we could use as an adverb to say bitterly cold, or we could use as an adjective, we can use it as an adverb to say bitterly cold, or we can use it as an adjective to say a bitter winter. So that just means it's so cold it hurts. You can feel it in your bones. We also have the word icy, which can also be used to describe someone's personality. It normally means someone is very cold, very, very angry, or thinks that they're very, very important and they don't like you. So she gave him an icy look, for example, is a good example of the word icy. Now, an example sentence of freezing is, the weather in this town is often so freezing that people stay in their houses for days at a time.
好，那我们来看一下 freezing 这一个字 ，freezing 就是很冷、很冷、极冷的意思哦。And the verb form is freeze。那我们看一下三态，就是 freeze, froze, frozen. It could be a noun sometimes as well。就是 freeze 可以当名词，但大部分当动词啦。那 freeze 当动词的时候 means to chill or to become ice. And if a machine freezes, it stops working because its parts have become stuck. 所以最常说就是 My computer is frozen。我电脑宕机，它不动了耶。Or when water freezes, it becomes solid. 好，那有没有其他字来形容冷啊？我们来顺便形容一下，像 chilly 这个字比较像是很冷的很不舒服，有点你冷到脸有点刺刺的感觉，或你冷得很刺骨啊，你可以说 biting or parky. I think parky we use that in the UK. You use that, right? Parky.
Yeah, it's in certain parts of the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we also have perishing. 都是很冷的意思。And next, the article says climate change has spelled disaster for many residents of the islands. And we have a word disaster. A disaster is an event that results in great harm or serious damage. And to spell disaster or trouble means to cause something bad to happen in the future. And we also have resident. This word means somebody that lives in a place. 所以我们整句话意思是气候变迁给岛上许多的居民带来了灾难。
So a lot of difficult words in that sentence, weren't there? But our next sentence is a little bit easier. We still have two vocab words in there. Snow that normally stays frozen on the tops of mountains now melts and tumbles down. So we saw the word normally there, which is an adverb. And when something happens normally, it happens as expected or it is not special. Normally, it is so cold in Svalbard that the snow doesn't melt. But now, because of climate change, the temperatures there are not normal. They're warmer. So the snow is starting to melt. We can also use normally to talk about our daily routines. I normally leave the house at 8 a.m. That's a good example of one there. Or we could say, John normally has lunch later than everyone else. A similar word that is also used is usually. So I usually finish work at 6 p.m. Now our example sentence for normally is, it normally rains a lot in Taiwan, but the past week has been very dry.
好，所以 normally 就是指通常哦，那是副词嘛，那么它的形容词是 normal， 我们把 ly 去掉。那这个当 normal 除了当形容词，也可以当名词啦，它就当很常规的意思。那么反义词就是 abnormal， 不正常的。那我们看一下例句哦 ，She doesn't normally put on makeup for work。好，他就是上班的时候其实不太习惯化妆。那另外一个片语，当 normal 当名词的时候，可以说 be back to normal。譬如说 ，The government is trying to bring things back to normal。Or 你跟男朋友吵架 you could say, Are we back to normal? 我们回到正常。
Are we okay?
Are we okay? Yeah. And then the next one, this warm weather is abnormal for February. 哦，这2月2月这个天气这么热，不太正常的感觉。
Right, abnormal there means basically not normal, right? It's the opposite.
好，那么看一下哦，因为英文练功房今天有讲到 stay, remain 还有 keep， 所以在这个句型中呢 ，stay, remain 跟 keep 它代表不完全不及物动词哦，是用来表示保持或者是人事的意思。那动词后面不接受词哦，不过应该要接一个对主词加以补充说明的主词补语。那常见的用法就是像下面这样，一个主词，然后加 stay, remain 跟 keep， 再加一个 adjective。好，譬如说我们造一个例句哦 ，Wade was struggling to stay awake during class because he went to bed late last night。或者是呢 ，Oliver tried to take a photo of his dog, but it wouldn't keep still。好，那第二个用法我们看一下，主词加用 stay, remain 再加一个名词，那 keep 就不适用这一个用法了。我们看一下句子 ，Even after moving to different countries, Dean and Saul remained best friends.
We also saw the word tumble there. So tumble is a verb, and when something tumbles, it falls by rolling forward. Tumble is a good word to use to describe how the snow is falling because when you roll a snowball down a slope, it rolls and bounces faster and faster until it reaches the bottom of the hill. People can tumble too. Babies and toddlers often tumble when they are learning to walk. Old people sometimes tumble too, and that can be very dangerous. For people, we can also say that they have taken a tumble. So as you can see, tumble can also be a noun. Our example sentence for tumble is, Trish kicked a stone and watched as it tumbled down the hillside.
好，那我们看一下 tumble。tumble 这一个字在我们文章中是动词，当倒塌的意思哦。那老师有提到哦，可以当名词哦，所以你跌倒的时候可以说 to take a tumble。那我们来看一下例句哦。She lost her balance and tumbled over. 好，她就是失去平衡就摔倒了。或用老师刚刚讲的例句 ，He took a tumble and grazed his elbow. 所以他摔倒，然后就有点擦伤他的手肘哦。And next, the article says these avalanches bury homes and shops. Some people have died. Oh. Yeah, we have a word. An avalanche is a large amount of ice, snow, and rock falling down the side of a mountain. 就是水崩的意思，所以你就可以说 A small snowball is capable of starting an avalanche.
It is. Have you ever seen an avalanche happen?
Only on TV.
Only on TV. I've seen a little one before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you were there?
Yeah, I was there. It was a bit further down the hill from where I was. But yeah, they can be very dangerous because they are very heavy and they can actually bury things underground.
Yeah.
And that's actually our next word, bury. Now, bury is a verb, and when we bury something, we can put it underground and cover it with lots of earth. If you have a dog, you'll have seen him bury sticks in the park by digging holes, putting the sticks in the holes, and then covering the holes back up. We could also say that the dog is filling up the hole. In many cultures, it's also common to bury people when they die. Other people cremate their dead, though, which means that they burn their bodies. In the article, though, bury is being used in a slightly different way to how we normally use it. Here it means that lots of snow from the avalanches has fallen onto the houses so that they are completely covered or have fallen down. We can see another example of this usage of bury in the following sentence. 3 workers were buried underground when the mine they were in collapsed. And there's one other good thing to remember as well with berry is its pronunciation. You see that berry is spelled B-U-R-Y, but we don't say bury. We say berry the same way that we say the berry that you eat, B-E-R-R-Y. There's no difference in pronunciation between the two.
Okay, 所以我们来看一下 bury 这一个字哦，那它就是掩埋的意思。And besides meaning to cover something, someone, or someone completely with a large quantity of something, it also means to stop oneself from having a feeling or memory by not allowing themselves to think about it. 所以如果你不想要想一件事情，去隐藏过去、掩埋过去，你也可以用 bury 这一个字。譬如说 his feelings of anger have been buried for a long time， 代表他试着都不生气，他把它隐藏起来了。都放在过去了。那么如果活埋某人呢，我们就可以说 to bury somebody alive.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, so when somebody buries themselves in something, it means that they're very immersed in something.
Right.
我们可以说很专心啦，或者是埋头做一件事情。譬如说 the students buried themselves in their school projects.
And also, it's kind of like, because maito is to bury your head, isn't it? We actually can say to bury your head in the sand in English, and that means to completely ignore something that is obviously happening. So if the company that we work at was closing down one day, and I just stayed at my desk and carried on working and said, no, everything's fine, then I'm burying my head in the sand. I'm ignoring something which is obviously happening.
好，那我们老师刚刚有讲到另外一个例句，大家以后可以试着用用看。那我们来看一下下面的文章又说了什么呢？ Rain is now common in winter. Okay, next.
Which is not good in the Arctic Circle. Yes, locals can no longer ride a snowmobile between islands as the ice has completely melted. So we saw no longer there. And that basically means in the past but not now. So they used to be able to travel between the islands on snowmobiles, but now because the ice is thinner or the ice isn't there at all, it's melted, they can't drive between the islands. We also saw the noun local. Now, you'll have learnt local before to mean, as an adjective, to mean something that is nearby. But here we are talking about someone who lives in a certain area. So a local is someone who lives in a certain area. So I am not a local here because I moved here a couple of years ago, and so I'm a local in my country in the UK, but I'm an immigrant here. Chiklin, however, is a local in Taiwan because she grew up in Taiwan. Someone who is not a local, though, could be called a few things. So I just said immigrant, which is somebody who moves to a country from another country. We can also say expat, which has a similar meaning. Or we can talk about someone being a foreigner, you probably know that one, or a tourist, which is someone who visits a place for a little while. Now, our example sentence for local is Alice knew that the guabao shop must be good because hundreds of locals were queued up outside it.
好，那么看一下 local 这一个字 ，local 它就是本地人的意思哦。It can be an adjective as well， 还可以当形容词，那就是有当地的、本地的意思。譬如说 ，Tommy has breakfast at the local coffee shop every morning， 所以就是当地的咖啡店，在这边当形容词哦。Or it would be better for you to have one of the locals show you around. 好，那我们再看另外一个字 localize. To localize means to find the position of something or to make a product more suitable for a particular area. 那譬如说，你可以说啊 ，It didn't take long for the computer technician to localize the fault. 去找出问题在哪里。Or the company is trying to localize more by hiring more local people. 好，那下面我们的文章就提到 This has also caused a dilemma for those working in Svalbard's coal mines.
There's a tricky job to do.
那我们看一下 dilemma 这一个字 A dilemma is a situation where a difficult choice has to be made between two different things. 它就是有两难的意思。那因为雪都已经融化啦，所以当地人就用水车就比较没有办法用水车在岛屿间来回。那这个也对斯瓦尔巴这个地方的煤矿工造成了两难哦。
Because coal burning is responsible in part for climate change, many locals are now uncomfortable with the business that brought wealth to the region.
And we have this phrase, be responsible for something. When you're responsible responsible for something, that means you're in charge of something. 又或者是呢，有一件事情你要归咎于他，就是对什么负责。那我们直接看一个例句哦 ，Maggie is responsible for this broken window. 所以 Maggie 可能打破这个窗户，所以她必须要负责嘛。那我们看一下另外一个片语 in part。in part 这个 part 就是部分嘛，所以 in part 就是部分地，在某种程度上的意思。所以因为燃煤是造成气候变化的部分原因，所以很多当地人现在对该地区带来财富的来源感到很不安哦。
Right, well, that is all the time we have to discuss Svalbard for today, but stick around because we're going to talk about it a little bit more tomorrow and how climate change is affecting the people there. But we do have time for a quick For You Chat question, so let's discuss that now.
For You Chat!
So our question for today is a good one, and I think I'm going to ask this one to you, Jickelin.
Okay.
So how is climate change affecting people in Taiwan? Do you think people might have to change their ways of life here too?
Well, I think the weather is getting more unstable day by day. I can feel it, and sometimes it gets cold, sometimes it gets hot. Maybe it's really hot today, but tomorrow it gets a little bit colder. Well, I think everything changes because of climate change. I mean, we have hotter days, and the temperature is rising as well, so we have rising sea levels, and we have all that. I can feel it. So what I do about it is to try to keep my AC on for just 2 hours a day. I try my best to do that. Yeah, I just turn on my fan instead of turning on the AC. Yeah.
That is a good thing that you can do. And also plastic. If we get rid of plastic as well, there's a lot of plastic bags in use in Taiwan. I think if we didn't use plastic bags in shops and stuff like that, that would be good. So remember, next time you're going to a store and they go to give you a plastic bag, just think, do I need the plastic bag, or can I just say that I'll carry it myself, or I'll put it in my backpack?
Or you can bring your bag.
Yeah, you can bring your
canvas
own
bag.
Canvas bag,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today, but we'll join you again tomorrow to talk more about Svalbard. For English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Chickley.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Svalbard, the fastest warming place on Earth. Scientists know that climate change is having serious effects on our planet. The world has warmed about 1 degree Celsius in the past 200 years, which is enough to raise sea levels. Yet there are places in the north that have warmed much faster. Winter temperatures in Norway's Svalbard have risen by 7 degrees Celsius in less than 50 years. This situation is shocking because Svalbard is in the Arctic Circle, close to the North Pole. Weather conditions here should be freezing most of the year. Climate change has spelled disaster for many residents of the islands. Snow that normally stays frozen on the tops of mountains now melts and tumbles down. These avalanches bury homes and shops. Some people have died. Rain is now common in winter. Locals can no longer ride a snowmobile between islands as the ice has completely melted. This has also caused a dilemma for those working in Svalbard's coal mines. Because coal burning is responsible in part for climate change, many locals are now uncomfortable with the business that brought wealth to the region.
Vocabulary Review. Shocking. The family got a shocking surprise when they came home and found a stranger in the house. Freezing. Tracy took a vacation in the Canadian mountains, but found the freezing nights too uncomfortable. Normally. This shop normally sells the freshest fruits and vegetables, but they seem different today. Tumble. Gerald slipped on the first step and tumbled down the stairs. Bury. The water tanks are conveniently buried under the building where they can't be seen. Local. While in Seoul, Tony asked locals about what he should see there during his vacation.
智慧小补帖
Disaster. Resident. Avalanche. Dilemma.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net